everyone, welcome. This is Roy at Ninja080, and today I will be making a piece of content that's a little bit different than my usual content that I've been making on this channel, because other than action figures, I am really passionate about video games, especially old school retro games. Well, what I have here, what I'm going to be showing you guys in this video, it's not necessarily I consider something too old, but it's still something retro to most people nonetheless. But I consider this kind of like mid-gen, kind of like in between what's like retro and modern, and that is my Nintendo GameCube collection that I've accumulated over the years. Now, yeah, I did have some games that left out of my collection, and I never got back, but thankfully those are not first-party titles, but games I could easily replace for cheap. But other than that, this is what I do have on hand as of September 2025, and yeah, I do plan on increasing the collection a little bit more as time goes on. But anyway, let's get on with showing you guys my physical Nintendo GameCube collection, starting from my first-party titles to third-party titles. So at the top of the stack, I have an all-time favorite here, and this was a must-have for my GameCube collection. But thankfully I bought it back in the day when it was still like 30 bucks. So anyway, that is Super Smash Bros. Melee, which is an all-time favorite. I have every character unlocked. Next up, I had to get this one, although I ended up getting this one like in 2021 during the pandemic, which I should have gotten this like a lot sooner when I had my GameCube back in the day, but I play on my GameCube compatible Wii now, and that is Super Mario Sunshine, which I also have in the Super Mario 3D All-Stars collection for my Nintendo Switch. Next up, another all-time favorite, one game that a lot of people think about when they talk about the GameCube, and this was a must-have, and I also bought this one during the pandemic in 2021, which another one I should have got sooner when I first got my GameCube, and that is Luigi's Mansion. Now, yeah, during the pandemic was not my first time playing this. I played this like back in the day when my cousins had it. Well, they still got theirs, but I bought my own copy, and yeah, this is a really good one. And I also have the 3DS re-release as well. And another one from the top of my stack. This one came with my GameCube Christmas of 2003. I had Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask on the N64, and when they had this bundle with the GameCube for $9.99, I had to have it Christmas of 2003, and yeah, I got my first GameCube with the Legend of Zelda Collector's Edition, which is a must-have for my GameCube collection, because I am a huge Legend of Zelda fan. Next up, and although I do have the HD version on my Wii U, this version, the original version, is still much appreciated, and that is The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. Next up, another all-time favorite that went up in price dramatically, and I also have the HD version on my Wii U, and yeah, we are still waiting for these two games to get HD versions on the Nintendo Switch. Hopefully they do that, and that is Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. I also have the Wii version as well, so yeah, I have all three versions of that. And next up on the top of my list, this is the most recent GameCube game I added to my collection. I think it was like last year, or maybe like a year or two ago, I don't know. I had to have this since I have all the rest of the Legend of Zelda games, and that is the Legend of Zelda 4 Swords Adventure. This one is early. I haven't really beat it yet, but I need to play through it some more. And next up, I also have the HD remaster of this on my Nintendo Switch. I've never finished this game, but I've gotten pretty far. I just kind of gotta find all the rest of the keys to get to the final boss, and that is Metroid Prime. And there's actually Prime 4 coming out on the Nintendo Switch, which I'm going to try to get sooner or later. Next up on the top of my stack here, another all-time favorite, and yeah, we haven't got a new game in the series since the GameCube, and this is a really awesome racing game, and that is F-Zero GX, which is really good, which is a really fun racing game. Another one at the top of my stack. This is another game a lot of people really request an HD re-release for the Nintendo Switch, or at least Switch 2. Hopefully both, because, I mean, you can play original Switch games on a Switch 2 anyway. Which I do plan on getting one, maybe sometime later in the year, next year. But anyway, we have Star Fox Adventures for the GameCube. And yeah, this is actually one of my top favorite GameCube games as well. Another one at the top of my stack. I'm really not a big fan of the gameplay style, but I picked this one up at GameStop around 07, 08 for about, I think, like it was around 12 or maybe $8, somewhere around there. I can't remember exactly, but it went up in price dramatically since then, and that is Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. Next up, I remember picking this one up at a Hollywood Video, which would be in Houma, Louisiana, but they are sadly closed now, as well as many other video stores, obviously. But this is also one that's high up on a lot of people's lists, and that is Bomberman Jetters. Next up, and yes, this one actually got released on the Nintendo Switch Online expansion for the Switch 2 on the GameCube, and they also happen to have both other PS2 and original Xbox versions of this. Although I play the original Xbox version on my Xbox 360, I still need to get an original Xbox. But anyway, that is Soul Calibur 2, or the GameCube version of Soul Calibur 2, with Link as the special guest character. Next up on my list, since I am also a big Mortal Kombat fan and I love fighting games, this was another must-have for my GameCube, and I really should get the PS2 and original Xbox versions, especially because the original Xbox version is compatible with Xbox 360, and that is Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, which is a really good one. Which I hope we do get re-releases of these games soon, because we are getting the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection on newer systems. But I would hope to see the 3D era games make it to the get their own collection as well. As well as I really hope they would make newer Mortal Kombat games after New Mortal Kombat 1, with similar combat style to these games. And I have another Mortal Kombat, the sequel to Deadly Alliance, that I just pulled from the top of my stack, and that is Mortal Kombat Deception, which is the 6th game in the series. This is the GameCube version. Now, the big difference with the GameCube version, in contrast to the PS2 and original Xbox version, is you get Shao Kahn and Goro as special bonus characters on this version that you do not get on the PS2 and original Xbox versions. And also the original Xbox version of this is also compatible with your Xbox 360 if you have a Microsoft official original hard drive. So do keep that in mind. Next up, since I am a Dragon Ball Z fan, although I haven't been collecting too many of their action figures, lately, but I do want to get into more of the Dragon Stores line since those are cheaper. And there is also the new Dragon Ball Daima series that has been released on Netflix, and I never watched it yet. I haven't had the chance to watch the Super series either. What I know about Super is basically from the video games. But anyway, we have Dragon Ball Z Budokai for the GameCube, which this was also originally released on the PS2, but the GameCube version does have a few updates and a few quality of life improvements that got transferred over to the Budokai collection, which I also have on PS3. But anyway, next up, as a longtime major Godzilla fan, this is one we all know I had to have in my GameCube collection. This was a must. And I've been having this one in my GameCube collection for years now, obviously. And I got the original Xbox version since it's playable on 360 a few years ago. And I really wish I would have known that when they were cheaper, because I would have bought them when they were cheaper. But I have them now, and I have also been having this one. And that is Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee, part of the Pipeworks trilogy, which a lot of fans have been requesting HD re-releases of, or at least like remasters in some form factor, and I totally get it, because yeah, it's a shame that Godzilla for PS4 had such a limited release, which I still enjoy playing that game to this day. Now, I'm not just talking about this one, I'm also talking about Godzilla on the PS4, but anyway, next up, on the top of my list, I remember watching this movie in a theater, and then I got the game that same holiday season for the GameCube, and then I bought the Xbox 360 version a couple of years ago, and that is Peter Jackson's King Kong, which is really cool, which is a really fun game. You can play as Jack Driscoll in like a first-person shooter mode, and then you go like into like kind of like this action-adventure mode with King Kong, and it's pretty fun. So, especially if you have an Xbox 360 or an Xbox One or an Xbox Series X, you can play the Xbox 360 version of King Kong on your Xbox One or Series X. And it does look amazing on that system, especially Xbox Series X. Next one at the top of my list, I found this one at the thrift store. I haven't played it too much because I'm not a big fan of the gameplay style, or at least I'm not quite used to it yet. But it's still a fun one, and it's high one at the top of most people's lists, and this is a GameCube exclusive. And this is Baten Kaitos for the GameCube. This is actually a 2-disc release, as you can see. And yeah, this is one of the games that's in my GameCube collection. Next one, I had to have in my GameCube collection because I am a big Bionicle fan, was at the time, and I had to get this game. Although I think the combat system could have been better, I still enjoy it, but I think it could have been better. And that is Bionicle the Mask of Light, the game, which is fun. You start off as the Toamata. Well, you don't play as all the Toamata, you play as some Toamata, some Toanuva, and then you unlock Takanuva, and then you fight Makuta Pterodactyls at the beginning, and yeah, it's an okay game. I wouldn't say it's the best GameCube game, but it's pretty decent. Next up, as a Power Rangers fan, this is one you know I had to have in my collection, although I still think this game could have been better. And it also features the late, great, well, heavily features the late, great Jason David Frank as Tommy Oliver, which is, we all know as the original Green Ranger, the White Mighty Morphin Ranger, the Red Zeo Ranger, first Red Turbo Ranger, and then the Black Dino Thunder Ranger, which he is in this game, God rest his soul. And that is Power Rangers Dino Thunder for the GameCube. But my only problem with this game is, yeah, you only get to play as the Zords. You don't play as the Rangers. Yeah. And you can basically complete the main story of this game within like an hour or so. It's relatively short, but it's an okay, decent game. I don't think this one went up in price too much, so you could get it pretty easily. Another one in my collection. My sister got me this the Christmas I first got my GameCube in 03. So this was my second game in my collection, which I do enjoy, like the original games. On the N64, I enjoy the original games. My bad. But anyway, and this is also on PS2 and original Xbox, and that is Turok Evolution. This is a first-person shooter, and it's really, really fun. And I have all the cheat codes for it. And there's a cheat code called, like, the big cheat. You put it in, and you can get, like, all your weapons and, like, become invincible and stuff like that. So the game is a lot more easier to beat once you do that. Or you can, have a challenge and not use the cheats. Next one in my list. I haven't really completed this one, but maybe I should give it another go. Although I would say I'm more like a casual Marvel fan, but I still think Marvel is pretty decent and really cool nonetheless. And that is X-Men Legends for the GameCube. There's also X-Men Legends 2, which I'm going to have to try to get sooner or later. But anyway, next two at the top of my list, and I brought these two out because they're both sequels and prequels to one another. And I do need to get the first game in the series to add to my GameCube collection. And this is Prince of Persia: The Warrior Within. And I also have Prince of Persia: The Two of the Thrones, which I have fully completed neither. But yeah, I need to at least try my best to finish these games, because these are actually pretty decent action-adventure games. Or action-adventure hack-and-slash games, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, they're pretty good. So, anyway. Next on my list. Now, this one also, I believe, got a re-release on the Nintendo Switch. I don't think I've ever finished this yet, but it is a pretty fun game. And that is Sphinx and the Cursed Mummy on the Nintendo GameCube. Next up, as a casual Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan, when I found this one at the thrift store, I had to pick it up. And this is indeed a 2-disc, and that is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Battle Nexus. This is kind of like, I would consider this kind of like more of like a 3D style, 3D era beat 'em up. It's just pretty cool. You unlock, you start off with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and you unlock different characters like Casey Jones, Karai. I think you'd even play as Master Splinter on this one, and you can also unlock the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 arcade game. But yeah, the music in the arcade game is not exactly accurate to the original arcade version, but it's still a fun, treasure to unlock this game nonetheless. And yeah, this is actually highly recommended if you have a GameCube compatible Wii, PS2, or original Xbox. Next one on this list, I would kind of say this would be like Capcom's attempt at kind of making like a Forza Horizon game, or like I keep on forgetting the PlayStation equivalent to this. I do have one. But anyway, that is Auto Mona Lisa. I keep forgetting the name of the racing franchise on PlayStation, although I do have all the games on PS2. But anyway, yeah. And this is an okay racing game, but it's not the best. Next up, Gran Turismo. Now I remember the equivalent to something like this from PlayStation. Well, the PlayStation exclusive. Yeah. Because I do have one of the games on PS2. But anyway, my last games in the stack of my PS2, my GameCube collection, my bad. It's basically 4 games I would consider, like in a line of a trilogy, especially if you are a wrestling fan, WWE by that matter. I'm starting off with WWE WrestleMania 18, which is pretty fun. Next up in my collection, which I would consider one of the best wrestling games of all time, especially with the revenge stages and the really awesome creative superstar mode. The way you have everything just fleshed out on this game just makes it awesome, and it's really cool to play, especially through revenge stages and doing like your campaign mode and everything. And that is WWE WrestleMania 19 for the GameCube. A highly recommended wrestling game if you haven't played it or heard of it already, which I hope you did, because yeah, that's from back in the day. And next up on my list is obvious game that I have in my collection, and I played it through it a couple of times, and that is WWE Day of Reckoning, and I still play it, and I'll play some exhibition matches here and there. And this is a really good one. Last but not least in my GameCube collection, which is the last WWE GameCube game they ever released. And it's basically the last one that uses this like combat style engine. Unless you want to count like AEW Fight Forever, which uses kind of like a similar gameplay engine, but it's not quite the same. But this is still a really good game, especially if you could turn the stamina mode off, because that's a pain in the butt when in the middle of gameplay. But it's still a good game nonetheless, and that is WWE Day of Reckoning 2. Which, yeah, my cousins had this game and I had to get my own copy, so yeah. That is all of my GameCube games as of late. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will be back making more content, doing more figure reviews soon. And as always, thank you guys all so much for watching. Love you all. Stay safe. Take care. God bless, and peace out.